Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna do hat boxes. I had a few hat boxes that needed to be made over, and so I'm just gonna give each of these a little different look. Now if you can't find hat boxes, then you could do the same thing to gift boxes and make them look like an actual hat box. And I thought doing these before the holidays was a good idea because if you are decorating your tree in shabby chic, then why not use these as a gift box? Especially to the people in your home that are where you can actually keep the box when you're finished. So these would just be reusable and also a way to decorate for Christmas. So I'm doing these. This is the color Tea Rose, and it's a Dixie Belle color. On this hat box, it was already white and in pretty good condition, so I just decided to not paint the base of this one. And here I'm doing my green sack striping, and for that, you just use a piece of tape in the center, a piece of masking tape that is the width that you want your first stripe, and then you put a piece right beside it on each side, and then that will make your you can pull that one off, and that will make your first stripe. And then you just kind of continue the same thing with the others. And I am letting these dry in between. If you want a little more detailed instructions on how to do these, I'll attach a video where I'm more precise, or not more precise, but more detailed in how to do it. So for this lid, I wanted to add a little texture. So I thrifted this this lace, and I didn't really like the coloring on it, but it doesn't matter. When you find lace that you like, whether it's the right color or not, just go ahead and get it if it's a good price, because you can always paint over it. And if it's not even the width that you want, you can do just like I'm doing here and just cut the excess off. And then you can use that excess for layering on your gift tags. So like I said, I'm not worried that this is not the right color of ribbon, because I'm just going to paint this pink, this tea rose, right over the top of it. And once the paint dries, then that's just more to kind of keep that lace on. So it just kind of dries over the top and gives it a different texture and gives you more stability. But here I am just adding some glue around the top because I don't want to see any openness between the ribbon and the lid. And so I'm just painting right over the top of that, and that just adds texture. It's just a way to add some texture to pieces. And then once that dried, I use my Dixie Belle mesh stencil and put some roses on the top. I will say that I used a little too much paint on this because it got a little bit, it kind of bled a little bit, but it still looked good. And now I'm putting a stamp on the front of this, just right over those grain stripes. And for this, because you have so much play in this box, then I just very carefully put the box on top of it, and then I could press hard on my stencil. And now I'm using a trick that I just recently learned from a viewer, and I'm putting my my rubber stamps, or not my rubber stamps, my clear stamps on some tape and applying those. It works really well to keep them stable while you're applying them. And now I'm going to use the holes that already came with this hat box, in this hat box rather, and feeding my ribbon through and tying it on, and that gave this a totally different look. And like I said, it really didn't take much effort. And now this next hat box is, I think, very ugly, but it's a good solid one, and so I like them when they're this hard like this. They're a lot easier to paint. So this one has the cord already in it, and I'm going to take that out and replace it because it's very dingy, which would work if I were going to make this hat box look very old, but I'm not doing that to this one. So I give this one has to have 2 coats of the color tea rose, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'm just going to do my grain stripes just like I did the other one. But for this one, I want a wider stripe, so I used a wider piece of tape in the center for my first stripe. And then that makes these stripes a lot easier because I can go ahead and leave those 2 pieces of tape on and then tape another one over from it and make my next stripe. So then I have 3 larger stripes on this one. And again, I'm going to use my little tape trick and put that stamp on. And this one is one of the stamps from the set I See Paris, which is a redesigned set. And this is one that I use so much, especially when I'm doing shabby chic or French country. And here I'm using some Van Dyke brown glaze from Dixie Belle. You could use any brown glaze, I think. But I love how it changes up this pink. So it just kind of gives it a really warm look. And I'm doing the same thing with my ribbon here. And then with this one, I didn't get it on film, but I painted the lid black. That's all that I did to the lid, was just paint it black. And then for this hat box, it had the 3 holes, so you have to kind of feed it out and back in and back out. I think that is so that there's a way to hold it. I'm not sure, but when you have 3 holes, that's how you do that. And this is an octagon-shaped box, and I like the little image on top of this one, but it's kind of hard to see here, but there was a lot of staining on that one, so I decided to paint this one also. And again, I'm adding my ribbon for texture. And I wanted this one to be very old looking. And because I had an image that I had gotten a picture frame that I didn't like at all, but someone had stuck this image in it, and so with this one I painted it the buttercream, and then I dry brushed some sandbar over the top because, like I said, I wanted to add this image to it. And I just want to make this one look very aged and even grungy looking. So now I'm trying to decide what size I need to tear this. And I'm going to tear it, but I'm going to have to be really careful because it is very fragile and crisp. And what I didn't manage to get on camera were my molds. And I just put some molds around this where I glued this on, and put some molds around the outer edge to frame it in. And I'll try to look up those molds and put it in the description if you want those. But you really wouldn't have to put the molds you could just kind of let that fade out into the box, and maybe I should have done that. It's a lot of extra work to add those molds, especially on this box, because then you have to go back and carefully paint the molds. So maybe that wasn't the best idea on this. So once I get this on, then the lid, I painted that the color sea glass. And now I'm going to decoupage a doily on the top of this, but it's just going to be a paper doily. And then once that dries, then I'm going to put my stamp called Kindest Regards, and that's an IOD stamp. And I'm kind of taping off where I put it over the top of the doily so I could see through, and I'm taping off where I want that stamp to end, and that will give me a clean edge. Now you could stop with this and it would look really good like this, but I'm going to use some Van Dyke brown glaze over the top of everything except the picture to really, really grunge this one up. And as you can see, that gave this one a really, really grungy old look. So that's one look, and then I really like this one. I love the way the glaze made this pink look. And so this is the part of the video that you can turn it off if you want, if you don't want to see a Christmas ornament. But while we're doing hat boxes, then I thought we could do hat box ornaments. And you probably saw one of these boxes earlier in my video. But one of these is just a gift box from the Dollar Tree. And this makes a little larger ornament. But I really like the size of this one, actually. And so I went to the Dollar Tree actually looking for these boxes when I came up with this idea. But as it turns out, they have little round craft boxes in the craft department, and they're a little smaller than this. But I went ahead and got this because I wanted a little larger one also, and to show you that you don't have to have the craft boxes. You can use any gift box, even an octagon shaped gift box. But really the only difference in doing these and doing a full-size hat box is obviously they're not going to have the holes for the lace or ribbon. So you have to either drill those holes or just take some sort of tool and just kind of poke a hole in it. So I think when doing a hat box, it kind of has that shabby chic or maybe French country look. So I don't know if doing an actual primitive one would even work. Would even, make it look like a hat box. But I'm going to kind of do some just different designs on them, and I'm not going to make you watch all these, but again, just the same kind of techniques that I used on the other, except for this one. This is a Dollar Tree gift tissue that is in one of the packs with multiple designs on it. And I just thought these stripes down the side would make it look a lot like a hat box. So I'm just decoupaging this on the side. And obviously these are much quicker than the full-size hat boxes. So for this one, I'm just adding the decoupage around the ends. And then I paint my lid. And I didn't mention that I painted this in the color Buttercream, both the lid and the box. And so once that lid is dry, then I just put a little stamp on this, and then that finished this box. And this is also one from the set I See Paris. Like I said, these are a very shabby chic look. And now I'm using my drill, and I'm using a small bit here, so I'm just kind of moving it around to make a larger hole. And that hole doesn't have to be perfect, because once you put that ribbon in there, you don't see that it's imperfect. And I just take the end of my scissors to kind of work that ribbon through the hole. And I didn't mention that I added this hanger to the top first. So I drilled a hole for that hanger, and then I drilled the 2 holes on the sides to put my ribbon to close the hat box. And as you can see, these are very quick to make, and I think they could easily bring $4 or $5, and you have the $1.25 now for the box, and then very little time and material. And my choice is the larger box. I think it just the size for it, I like it better. So I won't be getting any more of these little craft boxes. I'll just get the gift boxes from now on. So for the larger one, I paint the box in the color Buttercream, and the lid in the color Sea Glass, and then I add some grain sack stripes and a stencil or a stamp to this one, just like I did the other hat boxes. So I'm not going to make you watch that. I'm just going to show you some of the different hat box ornaments that I made. And obviously for this one, you have to use a different kind of tape for your green sack striping. So I just had some washi tape, and that's just a scrapbooking tape that was very thin, and that's what I used to make my stripes. But these are a really fun ornament to make and very simple. So I hope you guys will try some. And even if you're not going to make them for an ornament, these would make really neat gift boxes that would be reusable, just like the larger ones. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.